Hello YouTubers and welcome to the Star Wars review. Today I'm going to be reviewing Battlefront 2 on PC, and I'm just going to go through a number of different breakdowns that I've done for the game. Starting off, I'm going to go with the campaign. So first things first, it's going to be spoilers in this, so just be aware. So if you want to stop listening to this video, I'm sure anyone who's played the game has completed the campaign, as it's painfully short. So with the story, it's not what was advertised by EA and DICE at all. It's a massive kind of disappointment. After the third mission, you then realise that you as Iden and Versio defect and join the rebels, and you have many missions throughout the game where you don't even play as Iden Versio. You play as Luke, you play as Han, and you play as Lando, and that's somewhat disappointing. The mission at the end's quite interesting, where you play as Kylo Ren, but you know, it's like, I don't feel like there's been the gap bridged between The Force Awakens and Return of the Jedi. It seems to jump all over the place with the story narrative. It just I mean, the pacing's just everywhere. It's just very bizarre. It's not that it's badly written, it just seems rushed, I guess would be the best way to put it. I mean, on some positives on that, the voice acting is very, very good, and the facial animations are amazing. Where I enjoyed the story and stuff, it was really engaging, especially at the beginning. It seems like the beginning was a lot more work seemed to be spent on it, and then towards the end it just was like, let's do this really quickly over 30 years. It just didn't really make any sense. But yeah, I hear though that they're going to be putting some more story in DLC. Don't know whether that's true or not, but hopefully to pad it out a bit. I mean, it's visually stunning. There were moments when I was very, very impressed, but I don't expect anything less with the Frostbite 3 engine. Yeah, I kind of didn't realise as well, like Billy D. Williams does one of the voices for Lando, which is quite cool, but all the other kind of voice actors who cover different characters do a very fantastic job of recreating them, especially the Han Solo voice. I have to say I was very impressed with that, and the Kylo Ren voice is very good, the masked Kylo Ren anyway. Yeah, and I enjoyed the interaction of Iden and her team, and really, I mean, if I was going to give the campaign a score, I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10 for now, just because it really needs more substance to it, and I don't know, I think we all as Star Wars fans want a meaty single player, and with the destruction of visceral games by EA, it doesn't look like we're going to get that. But we all know really that EA's intentions with that now were for microtransactions as well, just like everything else. But I'm not going to get into that just at this part yet, because you've all heard it 1,000 times before, and at the moment they're shooting themselves in the foot. Okay, just starting with the multiplayer then, I'm going to start just by saying there is an enormous amount of grinding, and it's very, very boring. Like, after a while, it's such a drag, and it sucks. I mean, like, they clearly did this to promote people getting frustrated and then wanting to fund microtransactions, unfortunately. So yeah, yes, that's my first initial thing I'm going to go into, but I'm going to start by going through everything within the multiplayer. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is Galactic Assault. So this is what I've been playing the most, and I do enjoy it. I find it very addictive, and as a huge Star Wars fan, there's loads of little Easter eggs and visuals that I'm just wow, you know. I mean, they've made the Clone Wars look amazing, like recreating certain things that are either from the TV series or the films, and they've just got it looking a bit more worn and lived in, unlike what was in the kind of prequel trilogy. So hats off to DICE there, and there's obviously a lot of fans who really love the series there, who I just feel gutted for about really being held back by EA. But anyway, don't want to go into that. So yeah, I think there's a good variety of maps. They definitely need to put Conquest in, because I just sometimes want to do that. I don't want to be like doing Rush, which is what basically Galactic Assault is every time. But it's still really fun. My favourite class at the moment is support, but I am actually playing every single class per game because I find it's better for getting more points and more credits for buying crates. Because, well, I say buying crates, the only crate I ever buy is the hero crate because it's the cheapest. But yeah, it's just more the amount of reward you get per game is just so little that that's all I am prepared to pay for as such. A lot of people don't seem to understand, but the importance of playing the objective should be what they do, but they don't actually do that. A lot of players, they just kill, and it's frustrating. When people do work as a team, it is fantastic. The game really works well, and I'm hoping they build more kind of team play into it. There's a few things like the squad and that which they really need to sort out, where sometimes in a game you just, you know, you go in with a squad and then everyone runs off. You need to have, like, I feel, more of a Battlefield version where you have a set squad that you're always with, and also like you communicate between each other, so it's a bit more tactical, which I think would really work in this game, and I think that's what a lot of the gamers want. I especially want that. Another thing I'm going to go on is, as much as I like the battle point system, I do enjoy the fact that it works in a kind of fair way and there's enough variety for people. But I just don't get why they don't just do what they do in Battlefield and Battlefront 2005 and get into vehicles. Just do that. That's what people want. And it kind of sucks that they are trying to not be like the original Battlefront, but most people want that. And DICE make Battlefield, and that's what Battlefront was copied on. So that's what people want at the end of the day. That's what I want. I want a Star Wars skin Battlefield, basically. And you would sell like hotcakes. Going off on that anyway, I like the heroes. They're really fun. I don't like the paywall behind Darth Vader, Luke, etc. I just think that's ridiculous, but you've heard that many times on many different videos. It just, I don't know why they did that. And yes, there is no sense of achievement. It's just a sense of you could have used those credits to buy loot boxes, which blah. Maybe need a fairer system though for new players, like, because if you're coming into it and you're up against people with loads of decent star cards, you need like those people to have the option to play as characters, and like, so I don't know what they could do, tweaks and stuff, but sometimes I do feel for people who don't ever get to play as heroes, because you're never going to get used to them. I know you can play them in like the arcade mode, but you're not playing against, you know, anyone but computer AI, and that's rubbish, you know. So yeah, I kind of, hopefully they could do something about that, but I don't think that's going to be high on their agenda at the moment. I was having frame rate issues on the PC, but that's changed now since a few updates, so that's good. Yeah, and once again, just I'm now level 19, nearly 20, and yeah, it's just takes forever. I mean, like, you don't feel rewarded for all the hard work you put in, which is what keeps people coming back. And the biggest issue I have is that by the time DICE or EA sort this out, people aren't going to want to come back. They're just going to have had enough of this game. And it's so crazy that before they were like so adamant that they didn't want the community to drop down, so they were going to do this free DLC, etc, etc. getting players like being in and everyone from the same page, so you weren't having people who had bought season passes and people who didn't, so people just playing the base game, and we were all like, yeah, that's great. And yeah, I just see they've really shot themselves in the foot, especially, and dare I say it, the whole loot crate system of greed for EA. It's unbelievable they went with that choice, and the pathetic excuse by the CEO of what he said, blaming it on Disney. It's just, shut up, you know. That's why I think you're an idiot. You just care about one thing, and that's money. And I really do hope the IP gets taken away by Disney. So that's my bit for Galactic Assault. Okay, so now I'm going to speak about Starfire Assault. So I love this mode. I think Criterion have done a fantastic job, especially improving from Battlefront 2015. I think the movement and stuff is so spot on. I mean, on PC I use a controller to fly because I prefer it for things like that, and they're just so smooth. And the fact that they've removed that stupid limited dodge system from the original Starfire Assault is great. I love the fact that it's up to you to outrun missiles, etc., and try and use your skills. And at first I found it like, oh, I can't get used to this, but after playing a few games you get really into it, and you get really used to the way the controls handle and how sensitive they are, and it's on point, really. I have to say I've enjoyed everything about this mode. I play this quite a lot now, and I'm getting more and more into it as I've upgraded my ships with the star cards. And I have to say, like, if they could put in a progression system where people got the star cards and stuff, but it didn't in a way limit or give you an advantage over people, I'd prefer it. But the fact that you do, as soon as you have like higher star cards, you are just annihilating people, and certain ones are just completely unfair. So hopefully they'll tweak all this with obviously fan feedback. It has been incredibly quiet from them about the mess that this game is at the moment, and it's a shame, because underneath it there are some excellent, well thought out parts to this game. Yeah, I mean, like, the maps and stuff for Galactic Assault, I find for Starfighter Assault, I find are really varied. They've got some good ideas in there, but once again, I want to land in ships and get out and blow them from the inside out. Is that too much to ask? But yeah, I think we all like have a little bit of nostalgia. We just want Battlefront 2005 brought up to modern day standards. And yeah, after seeing like Battlefront 3 that was cancelled, that you could take off from a planet and go into space, how we've all wanted that so bad since then. But yeah, I don't think we're ever going to get that at the moment, not unless the IP changes. Visually it's stunning. I mean, like, they are like wizards with how beautifully smooth this game runs, but how they've just nailed the Star Wars look. And hats off again to DICE. They really do love, Star Wars. You can tell that. So yeah, I mean, Starfire Assault is definitely the most tweaked, perfect mode that I've played so far, and I give that, a good 8 out of 10. Right, going on to reviewing Heroes versus Villains. I have to say this is my least favourite mode. Trying to get into a game, it's really difficult. I just don't think a lot of people play it. Yeah, it's kind of when the heroes are locked off, you sometimes get the bum end of the deal. But yeah, it's not fun, but it kind of is cool to play as heroes. But I don't know, like, it just seems like tagged on nothingness to me. I would have preferred something like Sabotage and stuff from the original, because I loved that mode put back in. Yeah, and Conquest, please. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. So this is my least favourite mode. So moving on. Yeah, so strike mode is just a mode where you're working to do an objective, and you have 3 rounds in that mode. Um, and yeah, you just progress through. You are either aiming to get something or you are aiming to defend that something. It's okay. I mean, like, not a lot of people play it. Once again, I think everyone's playing the bigger maps with the bigger amount of people. So yeah, I do like it. I enjoy it. It's kind of good to break up the norm, but once again, it's kind of a bit of a tagged on mode, and yeah, it's not really what I play the most. And the last mode is Blast, which is 20 players, so it's 10v10. So that's just a basically team deathmatch. And yeah, it's pretty fun. I mean, it's good if you just want mindless shooting at each other, and that's always good from time to time to break up, you know, the different modes. It's really good fun, to be honest. I did like it in the original, and I like it now. So yeah, that's cool. So, just going on about the loot crate fiasco. So, yes, I don't agree with pay to win. It is absolute rubbish, and I was very disappointed that this mechanic was put in purely for EA's greed. I'm not gonna say it any clearer than that. It was there from the alpha to the beta, and yeah, it was very disappointing, and I feel very sorry for all the publishers at DICE who probably had a really good game, and unfortunately these mechanics at the moment are intertwined into the game with the loot crates, and it's really crazy that EA got the most downvoted comment in Reddit history, which is crazy. And then obviously just before the launch of the game, they pulled the microtransactions, and there was rumour that Disney had some sort of intervention into it, because obviously that's their baby, that's their IP at the moment, Star Wars, and they've got the film coming out here in England on the 14th of December, and I very much doubt they want bad publicity to go with that. They really need to get on changing this loot crate credit system for progression. It's just an endless grind, and you just don't get rewarded enough for the effort you put in. A game like this, people want to be rewarded, you know, constantly, to keep them coming back. And if you can't understand that simple mechanic as a publisher or a game producer, it's very disappointing. It's really not understanding what the community want. But I am really happy with the power of the gamers that complained and, you know, moaned and kept an uproar against this, and I think it's amazing what actually happened. I'm not saying it's entirely them, but bad publicity. The fact this microtransaction fiasco now is going all the way politically as well around various countries, including Belgium, Australia, etc. So yeah, I mean, let's hope 10 years from now we don't have those in these kind of games anymore, because you're paying for a full game when you buy the game. You're not paying for half a made game. Let's get rid of DLC and microtransactions. So just to conclude this review, I'm just going to go over a few things. So customization needs to happen in the game like it was in the previous one, but way better. Loads of ideas out. There's loads of things they could do with the Star Wars universe. They are not limited by canon, because there is a huge amount to take from canon. Why can't we have different styles of stormtroopers, like the Shadow Trooper and stuff? Can't we have like Darth Vader from Rebels? That would be amazing, like that different style. And it would be wicked to see like Darth Vader from, you know, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. The variations are different there. People need to, you know, pick up on the subtleties. It's one thing that I'm just like, there is no limit to what they can do. The universe is huge. Okay, some of the characters they won't have like different skins for, but they could think up something or be creative. I'm sure like Disney wouldn't mind as long as they agree with what it looks like for the universe that they want it built in. But just to conclude with the game, I think it's sad that this game has come out with such negative rapport because of the microtransactions that EA pushed into the game for pure corporate greed. But the game itself is a very, very good, really fun game to play. I mean, the campaign's short and it's not got the meat that I want in it, but what I did play, I did enjoy getting back into a Star Wars universe. But just because the game's been held back by this terrible progression system in the multiplayer, and the loot crates are it's just a random lottery. You're not really knowing what you're going to get, and when we play these games as a gamer myself, we want to focus on our favourite classes, and then we want to like build up like our own customization. We don't want it to be a random loot. I get it that you can use crafting parts to buy the cards you want, but why not just have that instead of the credits so we can customize it ourselves? Then the reward comes from the more you play, the more you upgrade your cards, etc. I still don't agree with that entirely either, because you all have an unfair advantage on other players. And is this really what gamers want? I'm not sure. I think if we were all singing from the same hymn sheet, we'd all be really happy in a fair multiplayer game. Surely the different classes should be the advantage and disadvantage without having stupid cards on top of it. But, you know, they're in, and I guess they're going to stay. So, besides that, I do enjoy the game, and I find it very addictive. Yes, I get bored sometimes, but I keep coming back. But overall, because of the negativity of certain things, I am going to give this game a 6 out of 10. If you enjoyed the content in this video, click a like and subscribe to the channel.
Do it.